and then maybe months down the track, it'll suddenly pop into your head like a little light bulb. But if you're sitting there with your arms folded like this and you're sort of saying, oh, I don't know if this stuff would work, then it's never going to happen for you. Right? I'm not talking theory. I'm talking facts. I'll give you so many examples of companies that have made money with this. It'll make your head spin by the end of the day. So, and don't worry if you're overwhelmed with information too today, because what will happen is, as you sleep on it and your mind starts to process it, you'll find that ideas pop up even weeks and months later that you learned on today, or you can refer back to your notes and you can still be able to use it, and even if you don't get it straight away the next week. So the third thing is focus. Right? You need to have focus, because very few people make their fortune out of doing 7 things at once, especially in the early days when you're trying to still build your wealth to success. Even Richard Branson, who's on everything today, right? How did he start his empire? Virgin Records. Right? I think he sold them for like £600 million, wasn't it? And what do you know? It was a huge amount of money. That's how he started. Then he started branding everything else. So focus on one thing. If you tell me, oh, I'm trying to develop 6 different businesses and you're still broke, that's why. Right? And if you keep chopping and changing, as I said, find a business with a high profit margin, right? And a market that wants to buy it, and that has a system. Right? If you already got that business, then you can leverage it the way I showed you before. But focus on that one thing. Just keep working on what you've got. Keep making it better, better, better. Because ultimately, right, you're going to have to use your brain to make money. You've got to use your brain, not your brawn. I used my brawn for the 35 years of my life, probably first 35 years of my life. I thought that working harder at the same things was going to make more money. In the spa factory, I remember thinking, I had like 2 units and I had sort of money in the bank, and I kept thinking, oh, I just keep putting the money in, and if I work really hard, then eventually, something will change. But guess what? It just got worse. I just kept creating more and more overheads, and then when we had that recession that Paul Keating said we had to have, my business halved overnight, and I went out of business. And there was nothing I could have done about it because I didn't understand how to get new customers quickly, which is what I'm going to show you today. So you've got to use your brain. The outer world is always a reflection of your inner world, right? How you think will reflect on the results you have in your life. You've got to guard your mind against garbage. I've talked about studying the rich, but imagine this. If I came to your lounge room, right, and I imagine I'm wheeling one of these big wheelie bins that you put your rubbish in, and then I go and I tip it on your lounge room carpet, what would you say to me? Yeah, get it out. This stuff stinks. But what happens when you watch the news every day and read the papers? It's like the National Depression session. Right? Everything that's bad in the world, why things aren't working. Watch the current affairs about all the people that are getting scammed here and there, and how, poor this, poor that, right? Look, I'm not saying those things aren't happening, but what do you focus on? Right? You got to focus on where you want to go. And news are not there to make you wealthy. TV stations and newspapers, who owns them? Kerry Packer. He's the guy that's making, the wealthiest guy in Australia. Right? There was a study done actually with a sales force at a company called SMI, where there was a recession. This was about 40 years ago, and it was in America. And they had the country was going through a really severe recession. The sales were down, everything was down. And the owner of the company said to his sales force, just make me a commitment that for the next 30 days, you will not read one newspaper, watch TV, listen to the radio. I didn't even know if they had TV in those days, right? But you will not do anything like that. You will simply focus on your work and do your absolute best. They made that commitment, and the sales of the company went up by 50% in the worst recession they ever had. I actually went for 3 years without reading any papers or watching newspaper or watching TV when I first started to make my changes in my life. Right? 3 years. I just totally closed myself off from that information. I was just reading books on personal development, on business, on success, anything that would further my knowledge. If you want to learn how to play tennis, do you learn playing tennis by sitting in lounge room watching TV? No, you got to be where? On the court playing, right? You got to be practicing what you want to be, not watching what other people are doing or why things aren't working. Right? Remember, focus is your own choice. Right? You can choose to go outside of this seminar and look up at the sky and say, hey, it's a beautiful day. Look at the sun, look at the sun and the blue sky. Or you can look at the floor and say, oh, look at all that shit on the road. Same world, your focus. Right? People get attracted to happy, positive people who have got a positive